off all these siege tanks now. Those drones really desperately trying to run for their lives. There's Wednesday Night Starcraft.
And it looks like he's going to be starting things out.
Yeah, again, this is going to be a PvP. It is going to be Theory versus Hasuu. This map is going to be an interesting map for PvP. Of course, the distance between the two mains are, until the middle rocks are broken down, are quite a jog, but I'm not going to expect a hardcore macro game, especially with this matchup, but it'll be interesting to see how these guys open up.
Yeah, this MLG Daybreak been added to the map pool along with a few other new maps, IPL Calm Before the Storm, etc. I'll do the intros real quick here. We've got vVv Hasuu spawning as the green Protoss in the northeastern position, and his opponent will be Legion's Theory spawning as the purple Protoss in the southwest position. So like you said, this is a pretty long rush distance map, but with warp-ins, that's not really going to be a huge factor in this PvP. But if it gets behind or it gets past warp gate tech, into sort of a mid game, we could definitely see some macro type game evolve just because of the distances here.
Absolutely, yeah. I believe if we do go into a mid game situation, the watchtowers are going to be big focal points for both players. They provide great vision, and you really cannot get to the other player's main or natural without passing through the watchtower. I mean, you could go through the third, but usually in mid-game, I assume both of these players, I mean, they are good. They will more than likely have something to scout there. But both players sending out their scouts right now. Hasuu actually just poking around his natural, checking for any proxy pilots. It's not going to find any, but making sure that nothing fishy is going on. But luckily for him, nothing is. Yeah,
he actually checked the inside of his base as well to make sure there weren't proxy gates going up. And PvP, there's a lot of early game shenanigans that can go on with cannon rushes or proxy 2-gate or just a simple easy 4-gate at the start. So this scouting is just really important right at the start of the game. We do see that Theory has his probe in the base of Hasuu before Hasuu has made it across the field, but not too much of a deviation for either player at this point. Just one gas for each, and the cybernetic scores are almost right on time with each other.
Yeah, both players probably breathing a little sigh of relief right now. Everything looks nice and normal, nothing too crazy. Pylon count is where it should be, and they can see everything. The first little deviation has started, though. Hasuu getting his second gas early. We do have Theory. He hasn't started his second gas yet, so we'll keep an eye out on when that's going down. But right now, the players are just going to try to keep these probes in the base as long as possible. Now that we do have Chrono Boost going down with a Zealot and the Soccer coming out from Theory, so Hasuu is making his way out while Theory is doing the same.
Yeah, Hasu's second gas there actually came on 17, pretty early second gas, so I'll be interested to see what sort of tech he goes for. It looks like he is going to be going for a Sentry early on. That's an interesting choice because we don't often see that in PvP. And if you do see it, it means, sort of a tech route's coming, and he's just going to try to use that early Sentry to defend against any sort of early warp gate pressure, whether it's 3 or 4 gate from Theory. Right now, Theory does have 3 gates on the way and just 1 gas, so he might put a little pressure on with 3 gates and maybe try to expand behind it.
Yeah, that Sentry, like you said, is usually an indication of, hey, I want to try to keep anything early out of my base because I'm going to try to do something. But yeah, fast second gas like that usually definitely means tech or at least heavy sentries, and we do actually have our first kind of proxy pylon coming for Theory, kind of down by Hasu's third. I don't think Hasuu will scout that anytime soon. It's in a really nice spot. Notice it's right outside the vision of the watchtower and in a place that Hasuu wouldn't really even check right away. But like you said, yeah, Theory does have 3 gates going up. Doesn't look like he's going to throw down a 4th, but I think once warp gate finishes, we are going to see some pressure as a second pylon gets thrown down right outside Hasu's natural.
Yeah, he has got a lot of banked minerals, and yeah, here comes this expansion. So it's going to be sort of a 3-gate pressure. He's going to poke a little bit, but at the same time, he's going to be expanding behind it. So if Hasuu misreads this and invests too much in defending, warping in a lot of units, he could fall behind on the macro portion of the game, and he doesn't have a pylon across the field, so he can't put on any sort of counter pressure. We do see Theory pushing up here. There's the first force field. It's going to trap 1 Zealot, and it's going to keep these Stalkers from being able to shoot on the high ground once that Zealot does go down.
Yeah, that was a really nice force field, trapping the Zealot and killing it right away, so the vision is denied. Looks like Theory's going to back off here for a minute. He did throw down his expansion, so this is by no means any sort of all-in or very, very aggressive play, I'm sure, Theory. And here we go, another nice force field. Hasuu again going to take out and doesn't lose a sentry, doesn't lose anything yet. So far Hasuu doing a decent job holding this off. He warps in a third sentry, so now he'll be able to chain force fields if he needs to. In the meantime, he does have a Stargate and a robotics facility up, and there's the preemptive force field again, just denying. Hasuu really wants to get out some units here.
Yeah, that's a smart force field. Previously, he saw the count of units that his opponent had, and he knew he could pick off one zealot at a time. But now he sees there's a ton more units. He really doesn't want to allow these stalkers and zealots up his ramp at all. And his first Phoenix, and he's actually going for sort of a single Phoenix, and now transitioning into an immortal play. So interesting, he has both Stargate and robotics facility at this point tech. So he's pretty tech heavy, and we see that Theory does have that expansion up and is pretty macro heavy at this point. So we'll see which of the strategies pays off.
Yeah, this is a very interesting build from Hasuu. Just the, like you said, just the single Phoenix right now, getting Immortals. We'll see if he does do anything more out of that Stargate. He's just using this Phoenix, I'm sure, just a scout right now. The thing is, though, Theory does not know if this is a hallucination or not, but he does have a second Phoenix. But now probably, when he sees a second Phoenix, he'll know that Hasuu definitely has a Stargate and is pumping them out, so he is getting a third Phoenix as well. Hasuu really is about to set up his natural, which he needs to do, because Theory's has been up for a while. The actually pro count is about the same. Hasuu actually ahead by 1, but I'm sure once Theory uses his chrono boost on his macro, that'll change.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. Those 3 sentries, obviously they're good for force fields to prevent any sort of early pressure, but that's a pretty heavy investment in gas right off the bat. As we see these Phoenix, it looks like one of them will go down there. So Hasuu losing one of those Phoenix, he does have 2 on the field right now and another one on the way, but you really want to keep those Phoenix alive, sort of get into the 4 or 5 count where you can just start raiding those mineral lines.
Yeah, Hasuu really needs to be careful. Losing Phoenix, especially some of your initial ones, can be really bad. But he is just scouting here, which is what he needs to do. He needs to buy time and keep Theory at his base, or keep him around. Oh, actually losing another one to a volley. Might actually... Oh, and a nice blink forward. Actually takes out another one. So Hasuu has lost 3 Phoenix so far. His count has been dropped back to 2.
Yeah, that's really tough.
Yeah, everything so far right now is going in Theory's direction.
You know, at a certain point of the game, you can start pumping those Phoenix in the early game, even going into the mid in the 5 or 6 range, like I said. But if you lose that many, you just can't invest in sort of mid and late game Phoenix. It takes too long. You're going to be susceptible to attacks, and I think Theory sort of feels like he's gotten the advantage here. He's going to be pushing across the field. We've got Hasuu just now starting his Twilight Council, so Blink already done for Theory. No upgrades, attack or defense for either player at this point. Hasuu does have these few Immortals, so he's going to need those to really pay dividends here. He just has the 2 Phoenix on the field at this point, so they can do a little pickup, but they're not going to be too great in this upcoming battle.
Yeah, I think Theory does want to engage, and so here goes the engagement. Hasuu really needs to micro to win this. Theory doing a nice job splitting and blinking forward, actually focusing the Immortals right now. Hasuu pulling back his Immortals, a really nice job. The Zealots are going at it right now, but actually Hasuu doing a pretty decent job holding up, using those Phoenixes to lift up the Stalkers right now. And Hasuu actually looking like he's going to be coming out ahead at this engagement.
Yeah, he has lost one of those Immortals, and another one is being microed back into the back, and it looks like Theory, yeah, I don't think he did a very nice job blinking there as his units were getting low. I didn't see too much blink micro going on, but Hasuu used sort of that potpourri of units, and the Zealots, the Stalkers, the Sentries, and even doing some pickups with those Phoenix, and at this point it's 62 to 45. He actually has stayed pretty even economy-wise, too. It's 32 to 32. And Theory's sort of on the back foot here a little bit, though I'm not sure Hasuu really has the firepower to push out yet.
Yeah, if I was Hasuu, I would wait till Blink. He needs some sort of mobility. You don't want to get caught out in the open, especially when your opponent has Blink and you don't. But yeah, now that the economy for both players is on par, it's like they got their expansions at the same time, even though Theory's was up much, much sooner than Hasu's. Theory right now just pushing, just making sure that Hasuu is staying at his base, making sure not to catch him off guard. Hasuu is probably just going to wait till Blink. It might get some upgrades here in a minute, but for right now, Hasuu knows that he came out ahead in that battle, so he doesn't really feel the need to go anywhere. Both players not looking like they're going to push out to get a third just yet, but we do have another robotics facility for Theory, so he's going to have 2 and a robotics bay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a very interesting play for him.
Yeah, double robotics facility Colossi. They're really powerful. If you're a little bit late on your robotics facility, you can just place 2 of them down. You can sort of catch up in the Colossi count. He knows that Hasuu does have those Immortals out, so he's probably had his robotics for a little bit longer. So going with the double, and now we see Hasuu actually going for a double as well. But it's going to be pretty tricky to support that off of just these 2 bases.
Yeah, I do expect both of them to try to take a third here, but if not, yeah, they're definitely going to have to pretty much cut out production of gateway units just to, like you said, afford the Colossus right now. And we do have the first Colossus on its way. Actually, Hasuu did kill a proxy pylon, and that did put Theory in the red for a minute, so right now he cannot get that Colossus out, but he is starting Thermal Lance. Hasuu just a few moments behind, so Thermal Lance timing will be about the same. Hasuu starting his first Colossus. I'm sure we'll see another one queued up. He does have the money for it right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether one of these players tries to go for a third base and the other, just pumps army and attacks off 2 bases. I feel like that could definitely be a decision that might cost one of the players the game. And it looks like Hasuu will be taking that third. So if Theory just pumps off these 2 bases, sort of hits a timing where Hasuu just has fewer units because maybe he was making an extra few probes, or just making this Nexus is an investment. So Theory might have a timing here. Like you said, the extended Thermal Lance pretty even for both players. They're both double pumping these Colossi, so Theory might have a pretty decent timing, and if Hasuu is able to survive that timing, he would have 3 bases. He would be able to support those Colossi with those gateway units. Like you said, the players will need to cut to support the double Colossi. So sort of an interesting timing. The next 2 or 3 minutes, Theory has a window.
Absolutely, yeah, and the next 2 minutes is the window we're talking about here. Hasuu did throw up his expansion. It's about 75% of the way done. And he will go into a little bit of macro mode, getting probes transferred over there, getting his gases going, and setting up for a more late game type composition. He did get a forge down. No upgrades are started. Both players just continuing to get out Colossus. We do have charge on the way for Hasuu. Charge has not been started for Theory yet. And he's actually getting his forge too. So it doesn't look like Theory, well actually now that I say that, Theory looks like he is set up for his third. He did put a pylon up there by the third, so he will probably throw it down right now. And this could be good for Hasuu because his third is already done, already getting probes transferred over there, and so he can start taking advantage of that 5th and 6th gas.
Yeah, he actually has a 6 probe lead at this point as well, so now it sort of swings back the other way where Hasuu has a 2 or 3 minute period here where he's going to have the superior economy. So if he pumps units at the same time that Theory is a little bit weak trying to establish this third, then he could have the advantage. Charge is about to finish. I think that's an interesting choice. I guess he wants to get in on those Colossi a little bit with the Zealots so they don't walk around real slowly and allow Theory to really kite the Zealots a little bit. So don't often see Charge with the Colossi composition, but we'll see how it pays off for Hasuu.
Yeah, Hasuu being very diligent with his probe up in the north, he did spot the proxy pylon that was going down, and if he was paying attention, also the probe that went over to kind of his 4th base, the base that's right under his main. But I like how Hasu's set up right now at his tower. He does have all these stalkers, actually blinks forward and takes out a stalker of Theory's, so both players being really good about maintaining their tower control. Theory right now having 6 Colossus, while Hasuu, if I could find where all of his went, they were all being hidden. They're all at his third. He also has 6. But Theory also spotting a proxy pylon down here with Hasuu will take that out. And Hasuu just protecting his third. Both players being really passive. I think both of them want to kind of just max out and get upgrades going and then just have kind of a huge battle to see who will take this game.
And Hasu's added a lot of gates. I think he has 11 right now. And Theory, if I'm counting correctly, only has 5 gates, so he's not going to be able to really reinforce that in any sort of battle here the way that Hasuu can, as long as Hasu's economy can really handle that reinforcement. And I think that Hasuu has an advantage with his production at this point because, Theory, just with those 5 gates, if these players sort of trade midfield, Hasuu can reinforce so much faster.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, 5 gates would be nice if he was just staying on the 2 base, but he did get his 3rd, and he hasn't thrown down additional gateways, which is, yeah, as you said, you know, kind of worrisome because, you know, having a warp in of, you know, 6 extra units can really help a battle in your favor. And Hasuu now actually moving down to the 3rd. We might have a potential engagement here in just a few seconds. Actually, here we go. The popping the Guardian Shield's going. Hasuu has some Stalkers out front, pulling the back, and here we go. Even an Archon in the mix. Both players are going to have to micro really well. We do have a stray Colossus coming in for Hasuu that is going to be focused right now, but both players coming up, and it looks like Hasuu has a superior ground army right now, but now that Stalker's wing forward, it's just going to look like it's going to come down to Colossus versus Colossus right now, which both players look like they have the same number, but Hasuu did manage to get a proxy pylon and did get warp-ins, and he actually does make Theory retreat.
Yeah, he had a superior arc and separation with his Colossi there, so they didn't take a lot of split, or a lot of damage, splash damage, and now it's 147 to 107, and like we said, there's 11 gateways just compared to the 5. Theory, I think he's chrono boosting his gateways, but it just coming too slow with the reinforcements, loses his 3rd there, and now Hasuu keeps all of these Colossi alive. It is 8 Colossi to 6, plus he's got all these gateways. He can just wait for a round of warp-ins or 2, and then push in and kill Theory.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Hasuu has this game in the bag, so to speak, as long as no big blunders happen. He does have saturation everywhere. Right now, he's just kind of waiting. Oh, actually, a lot of Zealots and a few Archons just caught out in the open there. Hasuu, I don't know if he was paying attention to his army swivel, but Hasuu actually taking advantage, was actually thinking about going in. They're dancing right outside Theory's natural. It looks like we have another engagement. A terrible spot for Theory right now, leading all of the Colossus, and that is game.
Yeah, wow. Hasuu looked pretty strong there with his decision-making. Like we said, there was a brief period there where Theory, if he had scouted that 3rd, could have pushed in and tried to go for a 2-base versus 3-base attack, but Hasuu got that 3rd down faster, and more importantly, he got a bunch of extra gateways, so when those big Colossi armies met and, you know, a lot of damage was done, he was really able to reinforce, take a big food lead, and then eventually just push in on Theory.